Welcome to The Terrible Take, a mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Dave Bryan. On Monday, Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Kevin Colbert and head coach Mike Tomlin collectively held the team's annual pre-draft press conference, and while entertaining as a whole, I'm not sure we were able to glean much in the way of information or clues as it relates to the team's selection plan starting Thursday night in Cleveland. We did, however, once again, get to hear Colbert's long-standing views on mock drafts, which has seemed to become an annual thing. We've never worried about what the folks in front of us will do, Colbert said yesterday during the team's pre-draft press conference. We used to do the mock drafts, and it was a complete waste of time. What we've done now is, and we've done this, for the last 12 years or so, we just mock ourselves. That makes sense, right? Mock how you would take players if they were on the board with a certain selection and go from there. In short, just ranking players. After all, attempting to predict what 31 other teams will do is impossible. So does that make the whole mocking process that most of us partake in annually a bad thing overall? I guess it depends mainly on the mock and who it is from or your approach to them all. I've seen some awfully bad Steelers mock drafts since I first started Steelers Depot in 2008, and some very good mocks as well. If you partake in the process long enough, you tend to develop a knack for who's to read and who's to, mock. So why do we even mock in the first place? For starters, there's this insatiable need amongst all of us fans and analysts to be more right than the next fan and analyst when it comes to our favorite team or NFL teams. After all, if I get more mock draft picks right than you, that must mean I know the team or teams better than you, right? That said, what's the best final Steelers mock draft that you've seen before, and how many correct picks were made in it? My best final Steelers mock draft came way back in 2011 when I got all three of the Steelers' first three selections correct. Even so, I still had the order wrong on the second and third selections. Did a lot of pre-draft study go into that mock draft? Sure it did, and that increased my chances of getting a few picks right. Truth be told, I hate doing mock drafts. I loathe doing them. Why? Because it's such a losing proposition overall. Personally, I would rather list 100 players I think the Steelers might draft in a single year and see if I can get every pick they make to come from those 100. That's the better exercise, in my honest opinion. All that said, there is value in all mock drafts if you have the right approach to them. If approached properly, one can be forced to learn about a wider variety of players instead of just looking at all 7 or 8 names and quickly dismissing the ones you know nothing about or have a preconceived bias about thanks to something someone else has said, written, or tweeted. Getting caught up with what round a player is mocked in is just as crazy as well. Instead, more time should be spent figuring out if any mock player is a fit for the team that player is mocked to and what the good and bad qualities of said player are. The entire mock draft process should be about learning as much about as many players as possible ahead of the draft. In closing, and before I get mocked for going all Jerry Maguire mission statement scene like on all of you, sure, it's human nature to mock drafts. It's what we do. It's what I do, and what I'm essentially paid to do at times. That said, mock drafts are beneficial as part of the pre-draft process, and that's why they are never going away. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my final Steelers mock draft for 2021 so that I can have it ready for all of you to mock Wednesday morning. Thank you for your time, and I'll mock you later. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Alex Kozora every Tuesday and Friday.